up, YouTube? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Sherry. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I am here with a chit chat, get ready with me, like I promised, a catch up and life update type thing, because life has been crazy for about 8-9 months, a year. I don't know, it's kind of like a time warp now. But anyways, I got some new stuff. I'm just going to be trying it out. I'm not going to talk much about it. I'm just going to put on my face while I talk to you. So if you would like to hang out with me, hang out with your girl for a little while and catch up on what's been going on in the life of a teacher slash caregiver slash 18 other things, then please keep watching. Welcome to my face, sort of. I'm going to try this Becca Velvet Blurring Primer Perfecting Base because it's been in my drawer for the longest. I got it at pop-up and I've never used it. Ugh, that might be why. It looks spunkety. Maybe you just need to shake it first. Oh, there's bowls. There's bowls in there. So maybe it needed to be shaken. Undoubtedly it needs to be shaken. Okay, let's try again. Okay, we'll see. This might be a mistake, but whatever. Roll with it, baby. So, we have gotten through the Christmas holiday. We have come to the new year. It is now 2021. Yeah. And usually I look forward to the new year, and I kind of do this time too, just to kind of close the door on one thing and open the door to another, but I just don't know. Like in my heart I really thought, rude. In my heart I really thought that we would kind of be past the worst of all this now, and it seems like this is rolling up on me. Seems like things have gotten worse. I kind of knew that it was going to get worse before it got better, but I didn't think it was going to be to this extent. I feel like I need to put this down a little bit so that you see less of my bun and more of this fabulous face. Hey, so I have been back to school in person since August. We went, when the new school year started, we started back in person with a lot of changes. I'm looking for a primer. I'm looking for my professional. Fine. Right in front of me. So when I used to come, I was just gonna kind of tell you how my day is now. When I used to come in and have probably 20-30 minutes to get the room ready and do all the jazz, the kids would come in and drop their stuff off and leave and go to breakfast. The ones that were going to breakfast. The ones that wouldn't go to breakfast would just sit down and get started on their work. Loud neighbors, I guess. But now I serve them breakfast. And so now I am a waitress. I'm a waitress. That's one of my newfound skills, is serving breakfast. And then after I serve them breakfast, we talk about what is for breakfast the next day and place an order for breakfast for the next day. And so I'm a waitress. I'm adding all these skills to my skill set. By the time I get done with this, I am going to be a jack of all trades. Rude. So I did a little bit of shopping over the holiday. Mostly I spent my points and I got some things on sale. And so I am going to be using some new stuff, but I'll talk about it at length. I'm going to do a haul of the things that I still have that I haven't already opened and started using. And always a hair. Always. So after that, we have a very short amount of time to do some work. They've changed our classes from having groups of kids that went to different areas for specials being library, PE, etc., to having our class stay together all the time, just for the purpose of contact tracing, etc. And so that I actually kind of like. I actually kind of like that. I like my kids staying together and not having to separate them out into groups every time it's time for specials. And so once we do some work, we have a little bit of time. We have to kind of close up shop early for specials because we have to clean off all the desks. The desks have to be completely empty and everything has to be put away off the desk, off the floor, because while the kids are in specials, the custodians come in and clean and sanitize the room. They have those fancy sprayers that you see on TV when they show like professional services doing house sanitizing or business sanitizing. They have those fancy ones on there, and that's what we have. So they come with the machine and blow a fog all over everything and sanitize it. So I don't know about this color though. Looks kind of yellow. Anyway, this is a new, I haven't tried this foundation before. It's the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation by L'Oreal. So we'll give it a roll. I'm hot. How can it be 40 degrees outside and I'm hot? So I kind of put a layer of that on. I'm going to put a little bit on my hand and then go back in with my sponge and try to get some extra coverage on my freckled areas. Oh, now the dog's going to start barking. So that kind of cuts into our plan time. We have been in person for the entire time, shy of, well, minus a week and a half. I'm trying to think. I think it was before fall break. We got a couple, I can't remember. Everything is like a complete blur because everything has been so crazy. But beginning at the start of the school year, we started with a platform called Canvas, which is basically a place to house all of our district programs and a place for us to plan and put our plans on, so that if anyone had to go to distance learning, they would have a place to come to get the work and all the information that they needed. And so that was like a whole big to-do because never seen it, didn't know how to use it. So that's been a learning curve. So now I'm a webmaster too. So add that to my list of skills. Maybelline Superstay Total Coverage Concealer. I've never used this before. I think I'll use a color corrector anyway. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to use this by itself and see what it can do without any correction. I don't have to look fantabulous today because I'm actually just putting on makeup to talk to you and to maybe film a couple more videos after this. But anyway, so Canvas, I think I have finally figured it out, at least to the point where my kids know how to use it. They know where to go if they're absent. They know where to go on the platform if we have to do distance learning. So that was a new thing. We kind of had to just build our courses from the ground up, really not knowing what we were doing. But we figured it out, and I have an incredible team, and so we have kind of divided the work into subject areas, and in essence we're taking all of our paper workbooks and things like that, pamphlets and workbooks and leaflets and things that we use, and turning them into digital copies. Well, you know, that's a giant undertaking, and at this point we're doing it 1 week at a time or 2 weeks at a time, and then sharing it with each other. But at the end of the year we'll have it all done. And probably at the end of the year we will have no need for it any longer, but that's beside the point. To make a long story short, we've kind of changed everything from paper to digital, and that's what we're doing. And honestly, it's really, there's a lot of benefits to it. For instance, I have a grade book on Canvas, and so whenever I do assign something on Canvas and I grade it on Canvas, there's no paper that has to, you know, come home with me, come back to school with me. I am doing it all in the platform, and that makes it easy because, you know, there's no paper shuffling. There's nothing to send home. The parents eventually are going to be able to see the grades on there, and so in time it'll all come together, but it's a very huge undertaking and kind of overwhelming at times. But like I said, I have a really good team, and we're all in it together, really trying to get ahead of the game. And if I hope that everybody took some time off over the break. I had all these intentions about what I was going to do to get ahead, and then, you know, as time went by, I didn't do any of the things that I said I was going to do, which is always the case, because I always have these talks with myself about, oh, well, you never have time off, so why are you going to spend your time off working? That makes no sense. So why would you do that? Well, to make life easier whenever I go back. I had already gotten ahead of the game before I left, so I have all my week is already planned out and ready to roll for when we get back. So it's not, you know, like I'm gonna be flying by the seat of my pants, but I had hoped to get really ahead of the game and have several weeks done in advance. But I kept talking myself out of it because I didn't want to get through the break and feel like I hadn't had a break. So there's my excuse for not working during the break. But I hope that the girls on my team enjoyed their family and didn't work through the entire break. I hope they took the time off, because we all really needed it. We all really, really, really needed it. There is always a hair, and that is so rude. So I don't know how I feel about this foundation. I can tell you it's not enough coverage for me, because I don't like all my freckles to show. I like it all to be gone. But guess what? It is what it is today, because I'm not doing it over. No, I'm not. So, after the custodian leaves, I have a few minutes to do a few things. To make a long story short, there's not a lot of time during the day. Most of the work that we do is done outside of school, because there's just not enough time. And we are doing so many things differently that there's just not a lot of teaching time left. And so, since I'm so light with the foundation, I'm just going to go in with my butter bronzer. I'm not going to do any contouring or anything. I'm just going to bronze up a little bit. So by the end of the day, we do have to wear masks all day at school, unless there's nobody in the room with us and we're in the room by ourselves. The kids can choose whether they want to wear a mask when they're in class, but we have to wear it all the time that we're there. And Miss Claustrophobic is not okay with it. I'm a big old whiner is what I am. But, you know, I got used to it. I think if my glasses could be on without fogging up, if I could have my glasses on, it would be better and easier for me. But I just can't find a mask that doesn't fog up my glasses. I've bought a lot of masks that said that it wouldn't fog up my glasses. I don't know if it's user error or what, but I'm fogged. 24/7 I'm fogged. So anyway, that's something that I haven't really been able to get used to, honestly, but I try. And obviously I wear it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to wear it because I have to and because I'm going to keep everybody safe. So there's that. The kids have to wear them on the bus and all that. I mean, there's a bunch of rules. All the rules that we have to go by. I am going to put some paint pot on my eyelids. So there's all that. You know, basically all of going through all these extra things to tell you that it's just been a huge transition. It's been a huge adjustment to make. It hasn't been easy. And I think I have felt more pressure this year than I've ever felt. And I also feel more support than I've ever felt. Support from my admin, support from my team. You know, we're really, you hear that we're all in it together thing, but in this regard, we really are. And we all have each other's backs, and we all do what we need to do to make it work for our kids, period. And, you know, if someone has to be gone, if someone is on quarantine, if, you know, some adjustment has to be made, we just make it. You know, it is what it is. We have to do what we need to do to keep everybody as safe as we can, and we do. And so that's just how it all works. And I think we've gotten it down to where it's working pretty well for us, I think. But it is a lot of extra work, and it is something that makes you very grateful for the good old days. I'll put it that way. It makes you very grateful for the things that you used to complain about. It makes you very grateful for the way that it used to be. And I don't care how far into this we get or how into the future technology-wise and all those things as we get, I still don't think that there is ever a replacement for in-person, face-to-face teaching with the kids. I don't think that there's ever going to be anything that's better than that. And when it comes to second graders, you know, they look at us as a second mother. We're their family. We are their caregiver. And so, you know, I used to, before we came back to school, I thought, you know, the kids are going to be all scared. You know what? They aren't. They are so resilient, and it blows my mind sometimes to see how easily they adjusted and how quickly they, I really, you know, expected them to be like, I don't want to wear my mask. No. I really did. I expected all that to happen. It didn't. They just rolled with the punches, did what they had to do, and it's amazing. They're amazing. And so, you know, we could take we could follow their example because they really were resilient. They just got on with it, and I'm using my cheek parade from Benefit. I don't know. They were just super resilient and just rolled with the punches. And so we try to do the same. I can't say that I was as resilient and as flexible as they were at church and in my life group, or my e-group. I always say life group, even though it is an elevation e-group. We've been talking about what our word for the year is, and my word for the year is malleable. Be flexible, Sherry. Go with the punches. You know, do what needs to be done. Don't be rigid in the way that you feel like it should be done because that's how you've always done it. Because we're having to do things in a way, whatever way it's gonna work. It has nothing to do with my preference at all. So we've been working on that, or I have been working on being more flexible, more malleable, and realizing that things aren't always going to go according to my plan or the way that I want them. And so sometimes I'm going to have to be flexible. And there's nothing, you know, it's a good thing. Because I think a lot of times when we get rigid in our plans and the way that we want things, or just the way that we've always done things, it's like we've had to say, just because it's always done that way doesn't mean that it has to be done that way now. And I think I've enjoyed, even with, you know, rules from the school or the district or whatever, just having the opportunity to try something different. And I think a lot of the things that we have done during this time, this little fuzz is relentlessly staying in my hair. So guess what? I'm just going to let it stay there. Fine. Be rude. Everything's being rude today. So, you know, a lot of those things that we have found or used during this time, I think that we found that they work better, and we'll continue to do them that way. So I think that happens sometimes, that, what do they say? Adversity is the mother of invention. I might be completely wrong. I think it's adversity is the mother of invention, something like that. You learn to make adjustments and do things in a different way because you have to. And sometimes you find that there are better or easier, more effective, efficient ways in the process of that. So I have to say, I still want the break to continue. I still am having a hard time with going back, just because that was a super hard grind. That was a massive grind. That was a super difficult time of pure exhaustion. I don't know that I've ever been more exhausted in my life. I'm hoping that when we come back, it won't be new anymore. It'll be more like second nature. I'm hoping that it won't feel so foreign. We'll see. Oh, let's just have a sip of caramel latte. So anyway, who knows what's going to happen, what's going to go down, but that's kind of how it's been, and it's been a super big challenge. And I hope that I hope that once all the vaccinations get done, speaking of vaccinations, I am on a list. I am towards the top of, you know, people that are going to be able to get it through my Native American clinic. I'm on the list to get it because with my fibromyalgia and health issues, they consider me high risk, and so I am on the top of the list. Of course, people who are diabetic, people who are elderly, all those would be ahead of me, and I would want them to be. But being a teacher and being exposed to the amount of people that I'm exposed to also, I think, is a very, it would be very important for me to be vaccinated very soon. Always a hair, folks. So, I don't know when that'll happen. And I know that everybody's not going to get vaccinated before school gets out for the year. So, I'm hoping that through the summer, everyone will get vaccinated. You know, it will run its course, and we will hopefully return to some slight resemblance of the life that we are used to, the one that we took for granted and griped about all the time, that one. Hopefully we'll get back to that. I am going to go off camera to do my eyebrows because I have a lot of trouble talking and doing them at the same time because, yeah, just not that talented. So I'm going to go off camera to do them, and I'll be back and we'll do some eyeshadow. I am back with the eyebrows, and I am ready to start with the eyeshadow. This is one of the palettes that I got in sale. It is the Mauves by JUVIA'S Place. How pretty is that? If it would focus, it would be even prettier, wouldn't it? There we go. I do not know what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to be something purty. Sure is. Okay, so my entire time of being at school and all the jazz, I have escaped COVID. My husband has escaped COVID. My entire family has escaped COVID, but recently a very close family member has COVID, so I'm not going to go into any of all the jazz about who it is, but man, it's scary. And I was having a talk with my friend Becca today about this whole thing and how prolonged it has been and how it just feels like it's never going to end at this point right now. It just feels like it's never going to end. And as the days go by, I learn about more and more people that I love that have passed, or people that I love, people that they love have passed, and it just gets sad. It's so sad. I'm just using a cream color that's not in this palette to just kind of clean up the bottom of my eyebrow. We're not going to talk about how hairy my eyebrows are, okay? Don't be rude. I'm getting ready to bring you in closer for the eye look. Don't be looking at my hairy eyebrows because it's rude, okay? Okay. Anyway, it's just, you know, it's scary. It's going on forever. It just feels like it's never going to be over. And the longer that you go through it, the more isolated you feel. And I just feel like, you know, we're all a little bit depressed. And I'm not going to give in to it. I'm not going to let the people that I love give in to it. But it's been hard. And it's hard for everybody. It's hard for the people who are directly affected. It is hard for the people who are indirectly affected. It's hard for everybody. And so I am so very thankful that the vaccines were brought out so quickly and that those are starting to be given, and that hopefully we can get on the road to something more positive, because it's just time. We need it. We need something positive to happen. We need something encouraging to happen. And so hopefully we are getting close to that. Let's see. This has no names, so I'm just going to point, I guess, to what I'm using, and we'll go from there. I have been watching a few beauty videos. I have missed making videos so much. I feel like a part of my soul is gone when I'm not doing this. I've missed the people. I've missed watching other people's videos. I have never, since I found the beauty community, watched so few videos, even of my friends. Like, I have to catch up on my friends. By the time I get done with work, I'm so exhausted and my mind is so tired that I don't want to do anything but just kind of do something mindless, watch TV, play a mindless game, do something that's really, you know, not mentally exhausting. And so, I don't know, I've just missed it all. And so I thought to myself, I'll really get a bunch of videos filmed. I'll get everything going. I'll have a bunch of stuff in the bank. And no, that didn't happen. And it's, you know, anyway, we already talked about this. So, but I've missed it. And I haven't watched very many beauty videos, but I have been watching some of the ones that have like the close-up of the eye and it just shows the makeup and there's not a whole bunch of talking involved. And I saw a really pretty eye look that had like a darker color on the lid, and I'm kind of feeling like doing that. I don't know. That is just looking too beautiful. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. But anyway, so that's where we've been. That's where I've been with everything. It's like I'm trying hard not to get depressed, trying to keep the people that I love uplifted. I've been diving into God's Word. I have been really involved in church and small group and all that, because it's just so necessary for me right now. I need it. I have to have a light in the middle of the darkest time that I've had in my life. So this is that dusty mauve shade right there. I'm going to do the transition with that. I'm just going to do like a color gradient from outer corner to inner corner. I'm just going to start off light and just get darker and darker, and then I think I'm going to put the darker of the shimmers on my lid today, which I don't ordinarily do that. I almost always go light on my lid, but I just kind of feel like experimenting today. But yeah, it's time for the pendulum to start, you know, going in the other direction. I don't even know if that's a good analogy, but like I want things to swing to the other side of life, the positive light side of life. And I know that this is, you know, there's a reason for this. We're meant to learn something through this. I understand all that, and I always do understand that there's a lesson through pain and adversity. I always understand that. But it doesn't make it any easier when you're going through it. And, you know, whenever things are going in a negative direction and it seems like you can't catch a break, it's hard to continue to have faith and to trust that God is, you know, always has good plan for you. And it's hard to remember that sometimes. But that's where I have to, you know, keep reading the Bible and get encouragement from God's Word and God's people all the time, because I have to believe that. And I hope that even though I'm struggling myself, I hope that I can be a light for somebody else, and that I'm trying to not succumb to it, not give in to it, and continuing to fight against it, because that's not where God wants us. God wants us to enjoy life, to have joy, to have peace. Joy, peace, sound mind, all of the fruits of the Spirit. And it's easy to forget that we have access to all of that. It's easy to forget that. Whenever we're in the middle of a storm, it's easy to forget that we can still have peace. It's easy to forget that we can still be hopeful, because things just seem so hard. And I have to admit, I've really gone inward in a big way, and for me, that's not healthy. Whenever I dive off into my own head and don't let anybody else in. And I think that's what's so dangerous about this time in general, is becoming isolated. You know, we're isolated as it is. It's hard to be around people. And then if you give into that and just say, okay, I'm just going to self-isolate, I'm just not going to let anybody in there, then it makes it even more complicated and more difficult. And it's so easy to do that. So I think we're all fighting against a lot of stuff right now. And I think the only way we can combat it is with each other, loving each other and helping each other through it. And I was talking to my friend Becca today about it, and she was just like, man, you know, with all the people that you, especially in the body of Christ, you have so many people that you interact with that, you know, very infrequently is everybody down. There's someone there to lift you up all the time. But in a situation like this, there are times when we're all kind of in that spot, and it's hard to lift someone else up whenever you're kind of in the pit. It's hard to lift someone else up. You know, obviously I know that lifting someone else up also lifts yourself up. And I think people forget that whenever you can be a light for someone else, you're lifting yourself up too. And, you know, that's what I have concentrated on. And I'm not patting myself on the back at all. But I have, like, even with Christmas presents and stuff like that, like, all I have tried to concentrate on is how can I lift somebody's burden? How can I bring somebody else some joy today? How can I make somebody smile? Like yesterday, when it was snow, it snowed like 5 or 6 inches, I think. And I looked out and my neighbor James was outside shoveling all the snow out of my walk. You know, he knows my husband's in a wheelchair. He knows that it would be a pain in the behind for him to get out to go to dialysis today and not be able to get through the snow in his wheelchair. And, you know, and I looked out there and I thought, man, you know, what a sweet gesture, what a burden lifter, what a sweet thing to see that chivalry's not dead. And that, you know, there still are people who are good people and still are gentlemen and still all those things. Sometimes it feels like there isn't. And so it was such a breath of fresh air to see somebody care about somebody else and just do it because it's the right thing to do, because it's lifting somebody's burden. I'm going to go ahead with that same color underneath my lower lash line just to match things up here. But anyway, so I have seen some random acts of kindness. I have seen some intentional acts of kindness. And as for me, I'm just trying to help give joy wherever I can, or relief wherever I can, or lift a burden wherever I can, or just be thoughtful or whatever. Just, you know, try to make it better. Help somebody out whenever I can. And so hopefully that will, you know, even buy somebody in the Starbucks line coffee, or I don't know, go pick up groceries for somebody because they can't leave their house, or whatever it is. It makes me happy to do that. It lifts me up while I'm trying to lift somebody else up. Okay, so there's a transition there. There's a transition on the bottom. I'm going to go in with, these almost look identical, but I'm guessing, I don't know, this one is just slightly deeper than this one. I think I'm just going to go ahead in with the deeper one and really deepen out the outer corner. That's what I'm going to do. So, all that being said, see what you can do to lift somebody's burden today. See what you can do to do something kind for somebody. See what you can do to just make somebody smile, or do something generous or kind. See what you can do today. And see how wonderful it makes you feel to lift somebody's burden, to just make somebody remember that there are good people in the world that aren't only out for themselves but care about other people, because sometimes it feels like there aren't. We have to become those people. We have to become for other people what we need from them. Does that make any sense? Probably not. But we have to become for other people what we would need, do for other people what we would have done for us if we had a choice, if we had what we needed. And sometimes filling that need for someone else fills the need for you at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense to me. Oh, my eye's watering. I was getting a little too deep for my own good. I'm a big old crybaby. So my friend Lisa and I, and Becky as well, online, went to the Elevation Praise Party. It was like so much fun. It was so good. It was so encouraging. I felt like we did the very best thing we could do to go in, to enter into 2000, almost said 1999. Lord of mercy. Yeah. 2021, then to do it praising God. And I do that every year, but this year it seemed even the most important to me this time, because it has just felt so daunting. And I think that I'll have to fix this. Quit with the eye water and Sherri. I think that my focus on being in God's Word and, you know, just absolutely keeping myself spiritually filled is going to be so crucial to making it through the rest of whatever this is going to be. It just is, and I know that it is, and so I'm trying hard to stay in the Word. My small group and I are doing a 40-day fast, and it's not a fast of food, it's a fast of like negative thinking, fasting your mind of thoughts that are not, I don't want to say biblical because that's not really what it is, but just like negative thinking, or allowing a reel of negative self-talk to continue to go on in your head. And it has been so good so far. We've only been doing it for 2 days, and I have just gotten so much out of it. You want to hear something real fun? Is that my one hooded eye is getting more and more hooded, and I noticed it so much when I was doing that collab with Donna, and I was doing that cut crease that went all the way across. Like, I had the hardest time with the placement of the cut crease because one eye was so different than the other, and I was trying so hard for it to be even and all that, but it was like so hard because this one eye is just so weird and more hooded than the other, so it looked strange. I had to like overcorrect. I think I'm going to take a small brush and put that darker color on my lower lash line too. Let's see, I'm going to use this one. But that's been really good. And fasting negative thought, it's so easy to get into that and not be able to get out of it. I have had periods of time where I had years go by that I would allow negative thoughts just to hang out in my head permanently. And that's all I did was allow fearful and negative thinking to just continue in my mind, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. Forget that. So this is the perfect fast for me right now, is to get my mind back in check and my thought life back in line with God's Word. So that's a really important thing for me, staying in the right place mentally. Ooh, this is pretty. You guys know me. If I can get me some rose, some dusty rose, some mauve, I'm a happy girl. Pretty. Okay. Now, decisions. I think I'm just going to go on my whole lid with this purple. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, it's pretty. I am going to do it. Ooh. Party. And just something different for me. I've been wanting to do something super different, and okay, dog. My neighbor's coming out to get her mail, and so the doggies are all in a chorus. Okay, so let's have a Netflix conversation. OMG. I was obsessed with Wentworth. Guys, I am the weirdest person on earth because I don't understand why I love those shows that are about people in prison. I don't know why I love them so much. I just do. I loved Orange is the New Black. I loved watching 60 Days In, which is like an actual people go into prison as undercovers, and that's like real. Well, I'm sure it's slightly scripted, but real people. Ooh, that's pretty. But I think I'm gonna go in with this lighter color right on the inner, like my inner corner, and then kind of pull it in. Yes, doggy. Yes, doggy. I hears you. Okay. And I don't know, this is like a marbleized kind of a, it's not focusing, duochrome with kind of pink and greenish in there. It's pretty, but I don't know how it's gonna look as an inner corner. So let's see. Let's give it a roll. What is on my nose? We will never know. It doesn't, I think I might need to wet it. It doesn't seem to be showing up much. It's very light. It's interesting, but I think if I fix plus it, it'll be better. So I'm going to load my brush up and fix plus it. Okay. I see you now. Oh yeah. There you go. That did it. Ooh, pretty. Yes. Yes. Go and do that again for the other side. And I don't know if I showed you, but it's this one that and it looks super light on camera, but it's not in the pan. It's like a marbleized, all different colors. But it looks groovy when it's wet. Wow. Pretty. Yes. 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 I like it. Yeah. Okay, so that is it for the eyeshadow, guys. I'm gonna go off camera and oh, I need to do just a little blendy blend right here because I didn't really. I'm gonna blend that and maybe darken it out just a little bit more. I'm gonna go off camera to do some lashes and liner and all the jazz because it just, you know, requires a little bit of concentration that I don't have whenever I'm yapping. Oh, I didn't even finish Wentworth. I watched 8 seasons of Wentworth and I have just now started Bridgerton, which is like a, you know, set back in England in whatever, I don't know what century. The Victorian age, I guess, is probably the best way. I don't know. I need to do some homework. But, oh, I love. There's my husband. Beep, 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 beep. Debutante, the, you know, social season, the beautiful dresses, the updos. Oh, I love it. It's so awesome. So I'm going to go off camera and do all the jazz and try to get my eye to quit watering. And I will be back. We'll choose a lippy. And you'll be rid of me. All right, I am back with the lashes and they are gorgeous. And now I just need to pick a lip color. I bought this little Kylie holiday kit and it is 3 mini mattes and 3 lip liners, and they're these tiny little babies. And we've got Autumn, Angel, and Mary Jo K. So let me show them to you. I think I've already decided which one I'm going to use just based on the eye look. I think it will look best. But this is Mary Jo K. And this is Autumn. And this is Angel. And since I'm such a angel, that's the one I'm going to use today. And it comes with these 3 little baby lip liners as well. And so I'm going to use the accompanying lip liner. So here we go. I'm going to zoom in just a tad so you can see better what I'm doing. And we will go for it.
Money stuffed up in my pockets. That means you can't ignore me on me when I'm talking. Dancing diamonds in my mouth, kick you upside your head, yeah. All this cash about me, make them do what Simon says, yeah. Imported hippies, doing linguistics.
Okay, I'm gonna set all this down with the Tarte Maracuja Miracle Mist. All right, I'm gonna zoom back in, show you the final look. I do think it's very beautiful. I love the lashes, I love the colors, I love the lippy, I love it all. Most of all, I love hanging out with you guys, and I thank you so much for your time today. Happy always to catch up with you, and I'm just gonna continue to ask for your prayers and for your patience, as this is a very different time in our lives, very unconventional, very unprecedented, and we're just gonna have to keep on picking up ourselves by our bootstraps every day, going to work, doing what we need to do for each other, and take some time to do something kind for somebody else, take some time to lift a burden, to bring some joy. Do some of those things, and I promise you that it will help you get through this time in much grander fashion. But I hope you like the look, and thank you so much again for hanging out with your girl. I enjoy it, and I will be back as often as I am able to, but bear with me, and thank you for your patience during this time. And I can't wait to see you next time. So if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, and for you to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care and God bless. Bye, guys. My big old cup is full of caramel latte. Alright, I am going to set all this down with the Maracuja Miracle.
I got money,